Hey guys, this is Shinsoo. Welcome to mobacast, and today we're actually going to take a look at the new League of Legends patch, which is actually the Fizz patch. Now, one of the first things you'll notice is that the talent trees are completely reworked. They've totally redone it, and I'm pretty impressed by what they've done. So let's just take a look at that right now. Okay, so here we have the masteries, aka talent trees. Now this is the season 2 masteries, and it's completely reworked. As you can see, all the images are different, the trees go different. You can see I'm gonna scroll some of these over for you guys, and of course, you have the offensive tree, the defensive tree, and then utility tree. So I mean, you still have the same basic concept of masteries, but it's very different. Now, previously, a lot of times what would happen is that if you'd go down the offensive tree, you'd end up having to take some things that doesn't really work with your hero that well, but you're just taking it so that you can move on to the next phase of specking the talents. And they've kind of eliminated that this time. I mean, you still sort of have to do it, but it's much reduced. So, for example, in the offensive tree, here you see, like, in a straight line you go down, it's all 80 damage. Here you start with attack damage, attack speed, armor pen. You go to the left, critical strike chance, critical strike damage, and then you have some life steal, some more armor pen, and some damage depending on how much HP the target you're hitting has. So I mean, as you see, you've gone down this road, you haven't had to touch anything like such as cooldowns or um or ability power or anything like that. And then you look at the other tree, and it's in a straight line as well. Everything is completely in pace. You start with ability power, and then you get some cooldown, magic pen, ability power per level, and then some more ability power. And then of course the final passive works quite well in with everything. Now what this means especially is that this is going to be pretty strong for hybrid heroes that use 80 damage and ability power damage, and it's going to make for some heavy DPS in the upcoming games. um, so let's jump over to the defensive tree. Now, something to notice with the defensive tree, they've paid a bit more attention to the jungle in that, for example, you get tough skin, right, which was sort of there before in another form, but it goes down to another level which reduces the damage you take by a whole 6 damage. And then of course you have the same armor and resist and durability. You get some extra health, you get an extra percent health, and going down the list you actually get um, you have some movement speed bonus. I love this one personally, to be honest. Look at this. Increases movement speed by 1, 2/3% depending on how much points you put into it when your health is above 70%. Now, it does exactly what it says, initiator. It's perfect for initiating heroes, lots of tanks that need to run in, like Alistair, Malphite. Any tank you want to go in and stun your opponent, the extra MS is going to help you, and this is great for that. Looking at the other one, reduces damage by 1.5%. And then the final one, it increases your total health HP by 3%, and it also reduces incoming disables. Now, this is perfect because on a lot of tanks, how the game has kind of evolved is that you build a lot of mitigation damage, and when I say mitigation damage, I mean armor and magic resist instead of just flat HP. And you get punished for that a lot, but here we have in this defensive tree, you're getting an added bonus for you're being encouraged to build HP. So I think this is pretty cool. And I mean, of course you're still gonna need your basic armor and magic resist, sure, but I think this is gonna encourage people to build more items like war mugs and atmas, so that's gonna be a fun thing. And then here we have the utility tree. Now the utility tree is quite different. One of the first things you'll notice is actually that they've put the experience talent way down in the tree, and I think this is to probably curve the junglers. You guys are free to comment and tell me if you think it's just for the junglers most, so that they can't take, you know, neutral buffs like you'll see over here, so that they can't take the buff for the neutral buffs and still have their tree going deep into offense and allowing them to clear the jungle fast. So that's a thing. And then, you know, going back into the utility tree like we were talking about. Now I know you guys will get to the summoner spells in a second, because I know you see the talent points for the summoner spells. We'll get to that in a second. You know, first you have the mana per level, and it actually works with energy too, which is an interesting twist. I've never seen a talent point. I don't know if there was one before, but I don't really play much energy heroes, but I've never seen a talent point give you energy. That's something more reserved for runes. And you know, going down the list, you have some more mana regen, some movement speed. Now honestly, I think this is a lot of points to have to put in. You know, you have to put in 4 points for a total of 2 movement speed, which is a bit more than before. But I think they're taking into consideration that you also look at the tank tree, and you have increase in movement speed as well. They don't want people coupling this and making it too imbalanced, I would suppose. And then what's interesting in the next level, right, you have greed. Now greed before was a 1 talent point, and you'd basically get, you know, like 1 gold. Now it goes as far as to 2 gold. And not only that, but look at this, wealth, increase starting gold by 20/40. You get an entire fort. Now I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a pot right there. That could mean the difference between a pot and a couple starting items, and that can make all the difference in this game. And we were talking about the experience before, as you see, 4.5%. Here you have Sage. It gives you extra gold for killing champions, and and getting assists. And the effect is reduced on Crystal Star. This effect, actually, you can see it on the other trees. You know, here we have it. It's based on mercenary on this tree, and on the other tree, let's see if we can find it. Oh, actually it's not on the offensive tree. So you can see it on the other trees. Apparently they left it out for carries, because it'll be probably a bit imbalanced if carries could continuously have such a decent gold gain. But you know, back to the utility tree. Here we have the regen. Now before this was at the top of the utility tree, and now they've increased it. It's 9% now. I believe it was 6% before, and it's 9% now. And you know, that's pretty decent. It's really deep down the tree, but you know what? It's such a good talent even down there. I think it's really good. And then you have the average cooldown reduction. That's the same. And then of course they kept the. Now I think this is like the only one they kept the same last talent. All the others they changed. They changed this one. They Juggernaut. This one they changed as well. Previously this was increased magic and physical damage. This one was, you know, reduced all damage taken. I think it was by 4%. And this one, it's completely the same. So they're basically saying that utility, yes, they mixed stuff around a bit, but if you realize utility is mostly the same. I think it's probably the most unchanged. It's probably the most relatively unchanged out of all of them. So I love utility, and especially what this is going to mean, especially with stuff like Spellvamp, is that you're going to see a lot more casters speccing into utility, even if they're offensive casters, because it gives a lot of gains now. And you know, well, that's basically it for the oh wait, I almost forgot. I'm sorry guys, I almost forgot. So, and then coming over to summoner skills. Now in the utility summoner skills, what gets improved, right? You have teleport, promote, flash, clarity, and clairvoyance. Now all these things were in here before, except I think promote, but you know, I'm interested to see how it works out. And you come in over here, you have revive is being increased, cleanse is being increased. Cleanse is really good now. I highly advise you spec it. It's very good. It even takes off exhaust and ignite now, so that's pretty good. And Here we have increases health restored by 15%. Now heal is something, it's been really underrated in the past, but I hope this encourages people to get it more. And of course you have the smite. Now something I noticed while playing today, apparently the 10 goal comes up before you finish kill the unit. I know it does come up, I'm not sure if you get it, but if you do get it, it's kind of interesting because you'd be smiting creatures and not killing it, but still get the goal for it. So I'm gonna look into that a bit more for you guys. So, and then here you have the garrison, all turrets have splash damage. You go back to the offensive tree. The offensive tree, exhaust reduces magic resist and armor, the same. Ignite increases ability power and attack damage by 5. Now this is a bit different. Previously it did not increase attack damage, and they've reduced the amount of damage it gives your ability power. So that's interesting. It's gonna work out a bit better for hybrid heroes, but a small nerf to allowing AP heroes that extra gain. And here we have Surge, increases ability power and attack speed gained by 10%. Now, honestly, at first glance, it looks great, and I've tried it, and it's not that I think it's bad, I think the cooldown is a bit too high. So I hope that they reduce the cooldown so that you can more continuously use it in a lot of situations. And here you have Ghost, increases movement speed bonus to 35%. Now I'm not sure if before you would get an added duration. I'm not sure if that's still there because all the exact mechanics and in the talent tree there'll be no space, of course, but it is there. And you know, so jumping over, we're actually going to take a look at the summoner skills right now. And let's take a look at the summoner skills. So let's move on to summoner spells. Now a lot of your favorites are still here, but you'll notice that there have been various changes. Now first off, Flash. Flash has been nerfed. It actually has an increased cooldown and the range has been reduced. Now this range reduction is quite noticeable and it won't be as effective, but it still serves its familiar purpose of initiating, getting away, and hopping over edges. Clairvoyance also has been nerfed. Its cooldown has been increased and the duration it lasts actually has been nerfed as well. So their plan is to not make it so obvious when people are going to gank you or doing Baron and buffs like that, so that you can use it more tactically to get a quick glance, not necessarily to scout the whole area continuously. The other thing you'll notice is heal. Now heal will now scale better into late game, which is a big change. You're going to see a lot more people taking heal, especially on champions that are very HP based. You'll also notice that in the talent trees, heal also got a buff because one of the talent points actually gives you 15% increased heal, and the fact that it now scales better to late game, that's gonna mean an actual decent AoE heal from this skill. Another thing you'll notice is that Cleanse has actually been buffed. It removes all disables and summoner spell debuffs, which means it will remove Ignite and Exhaust, which is huge. It's gonna be a definite favorite pick for tanks and even AD carries. Now in case you're wondering where Rally and Fortify has gone, it's vanished. They took it away, the bastards. But what they've given us instead is Surge and Promote. Now you guys know Promote from Dominion, and it's a decent spell. Promotes a nearby allied minion, healing it and granting it some extra stats, and basically helps you push out faster. So like you use it on super creep maybe late game and helps you push out the game and take a tower. Those creeps are pretty strong late, and it's an excellent unit to use Promote on. They took Rally out and gave us Surge. Surge empowers your champion, increasing attack speed by 35% and ability power by 10 to 78% depending on your level for 12 seconds. Now not only does it do this, but it actually gives an aura. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of this spell, but I think it's perfect for quick barons and quick dragons. Now you'll notice the rest of summoner skills are still there. There are some small changes that has been added to their talent points, but they're all basically the same. Something else to note, I mentioned this before, Ignite, the talent point for Ignite, instead of giving you 10 extra ability power, instead it'll give you 5 attack damage and 5 ability power. So that's gonna work out a lot better. Okay guys, thanks for joining us here on mobacast, and my name is Shinsoo, and I hope to see you guys really soon in the world of League of Legends.